it's Jane here. I am back up at the plot to give you a February tour, which, to be honest, isn't going to be too dissimilar to the January tour because, well, you'll know this time of year there's not a lot going on in the garden, but there have been a few changes which I'm going to show you. First, before I even start, can I just apologise for the weather, because much as there is beautiful bright sunshine, it's the sort of sunshine that makes me go like this a lot and creates lots of big long shadows. And there's an absolutely bitter wind seemingly coming from all directions. So I'm hoping that my mic is going to be doing its job and trying to keep some of the wind noise out, so you'll actually be able to hear some of the stuff I'm saying. So we'll have a little look round. We'll see what's going on, see what's going to be happening, and I'll catch up with you at the end and we'll have a bit of a chat. How do you like it now? Okay, yeah, this is a main difference since the January tour. Remember my embarrassment of greenhouses? I know I did a whole video on tidying up and it's soon going to get messed up again, but I'm actually now able to use it. You can see I still haven't straightened this table up. It's on a bit of a wonk. But yeah, I've brought my sweet peas up from home because I'm trying not to get in my own shadow here. If you look, even though I've been turning them and turning them on my one sunny windowsill, these ones in particular are looking very, very leggy. These less so. But yeah, it's about time that they had a bit of full sun, and the weather is now such that we're not going to be dipping below freezing at night, fingers crossed, for at least some time. So I think they'll be okay in here and they'll benefit from the extra light. So, but yeah, this is ready to go now, apart from the wonky table. So really, really pleased. That was a big thing to get done because it was something I was just putting off, to be honest. So yeah, nice and clear. Again, when you compare what it was like, I mean, we couldn't actually walk through there. And to be honest, it's still a bit difficult without getting garroted. But this grape, I've got to get it trimmed back. I know that in the next couple of weeks. But look, all the old tomatoes are out, the old cucumbers are out. It is ready to go. I've left in, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, there's a little bit of parsley there and there's a tiny bit of kale. So I'm leaving them to their own business until we need the space. But yeah, it's such a relief to get the greenhouses sorted because very soon they are going to be the powerhouses of the whole plot. As with the grape, I still haven't transplanted the fruit, which is getting a bit tight now. Oh, feels like it's going to rain now. Yeah, because it's going to start growing again soon if it hasn't already. But what I have done is marked out a spot for the new bed with an old bit of upside down edging and a brick and a rod. So you can see there, well, can you? That is going to be where the end bed of the fruit cage will go at some point very, very soon, and I promise before the March tour. But yeah, we've still got plenty to do. We have still got, I'm walking backwards, we've still got to put the autumn flowering raspberries in here, transplant a lot of these strawberries, and you see, this is what happens. I'm in two minds now as to whether to get rid of the summer fruit and raspberries because they're just looking really healthy. But yeah, this is where I want to put the gooseberries, so they are going to have to go somewhere else. But yeah, another job needs doing, and suddenly it feels like we're not going to have that much time to get it done with. Similarly, again, I've got my blackberry and tayberry there. Now I have got a couple of arches coming to go here and there. So when I put the tayberry in and the blackberry in, they're going to be able to grow over the top. So quite excited about that. But yeah, really need to get a move on because time's ticking. Look, I told you there'd be shadows. I'm doing a little cameo like Alfred Hitchcock. The garlic is still looking okay. I mean, we have had sub-zero temperatures. I know they're not very low, but it's been going down to sort of -6 at night. But they're quite amazing, these little things. They're looking a bit straggly, but they are coming up. But the thing that I'm really excited, I'm going to sweep you around here, really excited about is the asparagus. Every time I come up now, I know it's still too early, but this year is the year we're actually going to pick our spear. It's the year of the spear. So, oh, is that something? No, this is it, you see. Are you like me? Do you get a little bit excited when you see a tiny bit of green? Yeah, nothing yet, but look at those. They are going to be brilliant this year. So if you are thinking about doing asparagus, don't be put off by the length of time it takes, because it takes 2 to 3 years for them to establish before you're supposed to start picking them. Get them in, because that time does pass quite quickly, and before you know it, you know, oh my goodness, sautéed asparagus. Absolutely beautiful. It's just lovely. Right, less lovely is this big oh, I'm gonna have to get out my shadow. Hold on. No, what I'm doing actually, I'm just walking into my shadow, aren't I? At least it's moving over there. Right, yes, less lovely but just as precious are all these plastic bags that are sitting in the middle of the plot, because these are bags of, let's show you, nicely, fairly well rotted horse manure, which we're really pleased with because it actually has got worms in it, so that it shows it's breaking down really nicely. And we got it from a nearby stables, and we did have to ask what the horses ate and had it been sprayed with anything, because of the amnes, or whatever it is, that thing that's on the hay that is affecting compost. If you haven't heard of it, I'll try and put a link up to the Charles Dowding video where he talks about it. But yeah, be very, very careful with your horse manure, because if they've ingested some of this affected hay, it can affect your crops. Okay, so doesn't look very pretty, but it's worth its weight in gold. Beds up and ready for the strawberries. You know what, I was going to do strawberries on both sides, so over here and over there, but I think that's probably going to be too many, isn't it? So it might just be that we do strawberries on this side and we use the other bed to transplant the runners into after a year or two. But this is all ready to go, really. I've just got the last of the sprouts to take up. There's only a few left. And this bed, I think, is going to be greens and a few brassicas. So yeah, quite pleased with that. On the other side, however, you can see we still haven't taken this kale up. But when we do, I mean, if we look at it now, even now, I mean, the pigeons have had most of it. It's really done us proud, actually. But look, that's edible. We could take that home and eat it. And actually, on the other kale, it's starting to get blotchy now. Let's see. So it's not looking great. But the pigeons have had a fine time. But yeah, there's still leaves. There's still a bit of a pick in there. So yeah, could get a few last little bits of that off, and then these are going to go to the neighbours' chickens because they absolutely love them. So yeah, well done, kale. Now, apologies for this bit. If you watched the leek video, I did say that after I dug up the leeks, before I went home, I was going to cover it with cardboard and top it with that horse manure. Well, and I blatantly haven't, have I? I did start to get soaked, so yeah, I just upped and ran in the end, and you can see I've still left the fork there. Oh, that's terrible. Who leaves their garden tools out in the rain? Oh, but yeah, so that will get sorted. I mean, it's a fairly quick sort now. The soil's turned over, a little bit of topping there. It's next to the sprouts, like I say. That will soon be sorted, then that bed is ready. Hopefully you can see here that these apple trees are starting to bud. So soon these are going to be covered in the most beautiful, beautiful blossom. It won't be long. Then we've got this top bed here, which is almost ready to go, really. It just needs a bit of a top there. And but if you can see up to the banana palm there, which is wrapped up in a delightful green bag, we are going to have sweet corn, there, which I'm determined to get in time this year. And the rest of this, I can't remember what was going to go in the middle bit. This is where I need my plan. But most of the front bit is going to be onions and leeks. And I'm going to be companion planting them this year with the carrots, because I really want to see if they help with the deterring deterring the onion fly and the carrot fly. So yeah, I do believe it will help. So we're going to give it a go. So a bit of an experiment there. But yeah, also because the onions were so pants last year, I want to make sure that this year I get a decent crop. So I'm giving them a decent amount of space, and they are going to be so looked after. After being completely neglected last year, they're going to be treated like royalty. I'm going to have royal onions. If I just show you these bits here, you'll think, what on earth? Oh, look at this. Sorry, that's my mint. Oh, lovely. Forget which sort it is. Might be pennyroyal. Is it pennyroyal? Can't remember. Oh, it smells fantastic. That's beautiful. Oh, there we go. And that's the proper mint, as we call it, at the back there. And then look, I've even got a label. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's really useful. Okay, so there we go with the labels again. Okay, but that's my little mint bucket. I love that. But yeah, what I wanted to show you was all this round here. And excuse the shadow again. I'll try and move out the way. All this round here, and similarly all this round here. Just looks like I'm really untidy, but I do believe in keeping as much of the stems and the growth basically attached to the soil. What am I trying to say there, Jane? Basically in the soil, in the ground for over the winter, because not only does it protect your soil a bit, it breaks down. It gives wildlife little places to go in. If that was all taken up now, or it had been over the winter, what's the point? You just in fact, I'll show you what would happen. You would have bare bits of soil like this bit here that obviously have been cleared, and you're going to start getting your weeds in. Okay, so that's really no good to anybody. So for me, the soil just having this little bit of protection, it really helps in my mind anyway. And yeah, it is untidy and it is tempting to just pull them up. But the other thing is, it means that you can let your plants dry out completely, and you're going to get fully ripe seeds ready to plant again. Would you look at that? Oh, look what I found hiding in the short grass. My rhubarb. Now, this was transplanted last year, so we didn't pick a lot from it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it does this year. But here in the UK, at least, you find that most people, or many people, have got some form of rhubarb patch on their allotment, and they can get absolutely huge. But last year, like I say, we had to wait. We missed out. We were getting rhubarb given to us by neighbours. So this year, I think we're going to get a good little crop of our own. I'm looking forward to the crumbles already. The bulbs are starting to thicken up now. Won't be long. I reckon a couple of weeks they'll be opening. But what has opened already is this absolutely beautiful swathe of snowdrops. And there we have our other fruit trees. The plums, the damsons, the pear. And looking down the plot, you can see there's really not much going on, but the promise is there. I tell you what though, it's getting blooming cold. Let's go down to the shed. Oh, I tell you what, it's good to be back in this shed because that wind out there is quite bitter. And so I'm going to be doing this for a little while, try and warm my hands up. I don't quite know what to do about the end of my nose. You know what I mean? I can't sit there like this and talk to you the whole time. That's freezing as well. But yeah, absolutely bitter wind, which means that not only is the wind noise bad out there, but probably every now and then you are going to hear a gust, because the top of the shed is currently covered. Did you hear that one? Currently covered in a big bit of plastic because we had a leak over the winter. So it wasn't the ideal time to patch it all up. So yeah, it's got a temporary covering. And I mean, I'm looking now, it's dried out pretty well. But what it meant was we came in and not only was it damp, but everything in here had pretty much gone damp. And I mean, all these things on here, my books and everything, that all started to go a bit mouldy and a bit cold. So everything had to come home, have a really good wash. The shed had to dry out, which again is difficult in the winter. You can't just leave the door open, excuse me, and expect it to dry out. So, but dry out it has so far, touch wood. The plastic is holding for now. Let's hope there's no hurricane soon, otherwise I'm going to take off. I'm going to take off like in the Wizard of Oz. I'll be off in a tornado somewhere in my little shed, flown along by the top plastic sheeting on the roof. Yeah, all that is now all nice and clean and ready to go again. So it does mean I'm going to be able to start having a nice cup of tea up here again and start sitting here and doing my planning and things. So that was it. That was the February tour. I told you it wasn't going to be much different to the January one. Can't really help it at this time of year. But what has changed, and I said this in the last video, is just, I know it's cold today, but we have had some warmer temperatures. The days are getting longer, and it's that enthusiasm now is starting to build again. And when I say enthusiasm, I mean slight panic that, you know, we are going to have to start getting things done. We can't think, oh, we'll leave it till next week because the weather's going to be a bit better. Things are now sort of quite pressurised in some way to get done, like the fruit. That's what I'm thinking about really, just the fruit. That needs to be moved while it's dormant. And like on the apple tree, the blossom is now starting to bud. It will be breaking in the next few weeks, I would imagine. And you don't really want to be moving your fruit trees while they're starting growing. You want all the energy to go into the roots and to sort of get established before they start to push all their energy upwards. So that is definitely a job. That is a big priority for the next, I would say next week or two, certainly before mid-March. I want all that sorted. But other than that, I've got a few seeds underway. I've got the sweet peas, as I showed you in the greenhouse. I've got more of those to sow because I wanted to do a second sowing, but not until probably end of March, mid to end of March. I've got leeks and onions still at home on the windowsill. I've got my sweet peppers on the windowsill, but they'll gradually start coming up because, touch wood, we are not going to be going below zero now for the next couple of weeks at least. So I am going to start bringing them up and start to harden them off that little bit more, so they'll be ready to go out as and when the weather allows. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of you and a lot of people, I've got so many seedlings underway already. Maybe you've got grow lights, you know, maybe you've got different temperatures or whatever, but I'm determined this year to sort of hold back a little bit and not put everything in too soon. Because what happens is you invariably end up with a whole load of plants ready to go out and the weather's not right for it, you know. So yeah, so exciting times ahead though. Looking forward to a couple of new things. So looking forward to my asparagus. Could you tell? I'm really, that is going to be such a big treat this year. But also I am doing, where the snowdrops are at the top, I'm going to be putting a lot more scented plants and medicinal herbs up there, and I'm basically going to do it along the lines of, if it survives, leave it alone. If it doesn't, leave it be, because it's going to be under a tree, that great big faraway tree at the top. It's got the roots going under. It's not soil that anything else is going to grow particularly well in. But if you can get some flowers to do well in that sort of situation, or some herbs, great. So, for example, that phlox that the neighbour gave me, she said it was a thug. Fab. let's see how it gets on up there. You know, I don't care if there's a really nice plant that's lovely and scented goes mad under that tree. That's fine. But also, yeah, the medicinal herbs, I'm really want to get up to speed on those this year, or at least get to know a little bit more about them. And the lovely Michelle from over at Rough Hewn Homestead has been sending me lots of links to books and things to get reading on, so I'll certainly be researching more about them. But yeah, that's it really. Not a lot more to tell you. I am trying to keep my videos shorter, as I said last time. Fingers crossed for this one. But I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much to all the people who have recently joined us over, not just here, but over on Facebook and over on Instagram. It's really lovely to see you. I'll put all the links below for those different channels, so come along and say hi. Thanks again to everyone who comments and supports the channel anyway. It's so valuable. You know, that's what keeps me going really. So yeah, I'm going to shut up now, I promise, before my shed takes off Tonto style. Tonto, Toto. Dorothy and Toto. Tonto is something completely different. And I'm going to say goodbye. Okay, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.